Hello and welcome to Brew Babes podcast. I am your host, Danielle Snicker, also known as Sassy Cider Chick online. You can follow all my crazy adventures and like them, not like them. I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. We are all remote today. No one is in the studio. We are still pretty much traveling or recovering from traveling, and our studio is not put back together from all the travels. So we're all remote and we're just gonna have a good time anyways. Below me, or maybe to the side, it depends on how this records, is the beautiful and amazing the St. Pete Beer Babe, the event goddess, and my beer life mate, Kat Jones. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm drinking Celsius at the house today instead of, popping a beer over at a bar. But below me, that's a great name for a beer.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, I have like a
Just
smoothie.
kidding.
I've
We
got
had we
coffee.
had below me at the Tallahassee Beer Festival, which is from the Deep Brewing Company. So
That's awesome. And
I'm doing
with
good,
us
thank you.
today is our friend Carly with Coastal Tabs. Carly, how are you?
I'm so well. How are you?
We all just saw each other in Tallahassee a little while ago, about a week ago. I think it's a week now. I don't even know. I'm so lost on track of time. It may even be longer. But we all got to see each other in Tallahassee, which was so fun. And now we get to be here, kind of all remote, but still here. So I'm so happy to be with you girls. Carly, we are so happy to have you on. And we want to know what you're with Coastal Taps. What does Coastal Taps do, and how did you want to?
Well, thank you for having me. I feel honored. Yeah, so Coastal Clear Taps is quite a journey. It came from many years of being in the craft beer industry, and it's like a very long story. But yeah, I had been living in New York. I grew up there and lived in the city, and was working at a brewery, and had an inclination to get more information and knowledge about draft systems because of some of the flaws at said brewery. Unnamed, I will not name. But yeah, and then I took the micromatic course in Pennsylvania. So I did the 3-day weekend course there and just specialized in draft installations and cleanings and things like that. And then I applied for a cleaning draft technician position in New York and got hired by a company there called Draft Choice. I'm going to give them a shout out. They are amazing. And I could only learn so much in a classroom setting, but then being out in the field and training with some of the top technicians was the best experience and learned the most. So that's kind of how it started. And then
now
I
what
started
do you do here?
Yeah, so I started Coastal Clear 3 years ago. I had been cleaning lines at Green Bench, and then it just kind of tumbled into someone finding out that I did that, and then they picked me up, and I saw a business opportunity there and decided to take that on. And here we are.
Just for people who don't know, because we know, what does Coastal Clear Tabs do for breweries?
So it's not specifically for breweries also, but it's a multitude of places. I specialize in draft cleaning. So I do draft line cleaning. And so, yeah, I will go in every 2 weeks or once a month and do maintenance on the draft system. I can go more into depth with that too, if you want, on how that works. But yeah, and I will
We love that
basically
stuff.
break down.
Tell us everything.
Yeah, I mean that's good. Yeah, I'll basically break down someone's draft system and put chemicals through the line, do a very like aggressive pump line cleaning, and then break down faucets and soak them, clean them, use all my equipment to do that. And then I will clean the couplers after and then hook everything back up. So I kind of break everything down and then put everything back together.
And just so people know, because we do have a lot of brewery people that do listen, and that's awesome. But we also have a lot of beer enthusiasts and people that just honestly like to hear us talk. Why would it be so important for someone to bring this in? Like why is this such a I think it's such an important service to do for breweries, and I know how important it is, but why does this matter in the overall, like, for the beer?
Sure. I mean, it's like anything else. It's like taking care of any piece of machinery or, your refrigerator or your air conditioning. Like you're going to clean out the filter or things like that. So I think regulating and making sure to maintain your draft system not only makes the beer taste better, but it also will, the system in and of itself will last longer if you keep doing a regular maintenance. So I think, the Brewers Association recommends every 2 weeks, which I highly recommend. A lot of my clients are on that basis, and also like once a month, depending on how old the draft system is. If it's a
Right.
newer system, I can say once a month, but I try to push everybody for 2 weeks. Sometimes it's a cost issue, which I
Of
understand.
course.
As long as somebody's doing it regularly, I'm happy that that's just even the case. So that's great. But yeah, I think just like regular maintenance in and of itself is important, very important for flavor, for the parts of the system. But yeah, I mean, my most passionate thing about it is that people take a very long time to brew and make beer and put a lot of time and effort into it. And it goes through a lot of processes. And then to get to the final end product into
Mhm.
your glass, to put it through a dirty system does such a disservice to it.
Right.
But, I think it's important. And I think a lot of brewers find that to be very important and want to drink the best version of their product, right?
I
Yeah.
think that's why
Yeah.
a lot of breweries you don't actually go into distribution, not just because
Mhm.
of the cost of it, the logistics portion of it, how far is it going to go? Do I have enough kegs to get it out there? I think there is a sense of control that's lost over your product once it's out of your building. Whether that's
100%.
temperature control, whether that's a draft system, whether that's maybe I'll get my keg back or I won't.
Yeah.
You have told me some I think it's fascinating and disgusting, and I love it.
My photos are
So,
awful.
it's kind of like when you watch, like, I don't know if you guys do this, but, like, you get on the little doom scroll and you start watching, like, the cleaning of the carpet, like a dirty
Yes.
carpet to a clean carpet, like, that's what you're doing. It's so
Yeah.
satisfying. Like, it starts out really gross, but then it's so satisfying.
Right.
It's
So, tell
awesome.
us some
I
of
love
that
it.
stuff.
I've seen some stuff, and
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and someone recently asked me to post more before and after, which I try to do,
Yeah.
Right.
but with my regulars and all of my, people that I see consistently, things aren't too bad. So it's not
Right.
like if it's like a new client, which I won't post like names and things like that, but that I'll try to do because I love showing like the before of maybe a place that has never had a cleaning before.
Yeah.
I had an account that they had coffee on draft, and they had been open at the time for like 7 years,
Yeah.
and the owner had no idea that that was something that you needed to do. And when I got a look at the inside of the faucet and the shaft, I don't know how they were even pouring product. I'll be honest with you, but it was
So
awesome.
satisfying to, like, clean that,
Yeah,
I bet. I mean, like, you walk in and you're like, "Oh god." I
I'm so
remember
excited.
I remember the first time, because when I worked at the small distribution company, we went back and forth a lot about having our accounts coming out and cleaning because restaurants are technically responsible to clean their own taps,
For
right?
their own.
However, in the state of Florida and the beautiful three-tier system that we have here, the distri the distributors offer it as a service. They'll come out and clean your taps, whether they do a good job or not, as I'm
Right.
sure, you know,
Because I'm making faces.
to the restaurant owner, right? Yeah, but not everybody's listening. I've been listening to the podcast on the podcast app, so you can't always see our facial expressions. So,
Right.
but yeah, so they, to a restaurant owner, especially a local business who's struggling and trying to, save money where they can. It was a big deal for us to be able to offer that as a service because I had to take my Fridays, which would usually be a sales day, and I was going out with a cleaner keg. And Jacob, the owner taught me how to take apart a faucet, which was like taking apart a remote control and putting it back together, which was really cool once you learn how to do it. It's like a little jigsaw puzzle. But like I was like, this is so gross in here. Like, but we just cleaned this like a month ago. What the hell? So 7 years, I can't even imagine.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
imagine
it's
that.
nuts. Even just, I mean, some places that either have like a long draw system, which I can, explain that more in detail. But yeah, that's not like what Gulfport has, which is a direct draw where the lines are just going straight through from your refrigerator, as opposed to the lines are going above and over 150 feet. And who knows what's sitting in there.
Right.
So I have some clients who have that situation. And yeah, I mean, it's still like an aggressive cleaning that really takes, and it's the type of cleaning that I think that I do that sets me aside from the type that distributors are doing. I mean, I do that technique too, but yeah, it's interesting the dynamic down here that I wasn't prepared for when I started the business, competing with distribution, offering the service for free. Because the company I worked for in New York, yes, it was, they don't operate the way that they do here. It's similar in that the bar is responsible and they pay for the service. So yeah, we had like 600 accounts. It was like insane. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a challenge there. Just getting people to understand how important the type of service that I'm doing is and all of the detail that goes in it. I had, like, I'll give you another story. I had another account that had a distributor coming in to do the cleaning. I was cleaning their coffee lines and they had 4 beer lines that they didn't want. They were like, "We have the distributor coming." And I was like, "Cool, that's fine. I'll clean your coffee and your kombucha. Like, that's fine." And then after a couple of months of going to this spot, the owner was like, "Carly, you're here for like a while. Like, it's kind of crazy because the guy who comes and does the beer lines, he's only here for like 5 minutes."
No.
And I was like, "Well, five? First of all, chemicals got to sit in the lines for at least 20 minutes. So if he's in and out in 5, that's crazy." So then they ended up having me do the beer lines too. So like, it just was like, we appreciate your work and what you're doing. So that was kind of cool. I don't mean to like take anything from distributors. It's just like, it's a different cleaning if you're looking for like the value in that, and that's what I'm trying to push more out there and get people to understand, like, the types of cleanings and things like that and how it can be different. Yeah.
I think most bars and restaurants feel like, because I come from the bar and restaurant side and then kind of moved into craft breweries. And I know as a bar and restaurant manager, you really didn't know that there was different levels of cleaning. That's not something that is taught, which should be. And I
I
advocate for that. Like if you're a bar and a restaurant, you should learn a lot more about beer and how to best serve it. I wish more bars and restaurants were dedicated to that, because you really do think, well, if I'm using this distributor and it's their beer, they're going to want it to come out good. So they're going to do that deep in-depth cleaning or whatever it needs, because I don't know. And so whatever it needs, I'm going to assume that that's what they're doing. But they are, I mean, and I've been a bar manager at several bars and restaurants, and they're in and out in 15 minutes. Even if they have 4 or 5 taps to do, it's
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes and they're gone.
Yeah.
And so I think for us in the brewing industry, we know that that's not sufficient. And you also know, like, if you had a sour on, or if you had, let's say, a jalapeno adjunct in a beer, that now that's a completely different type of
Even
cleaning, maybe
coffee.
even a line change,
Yeah.
where like that's not something that big distributors are telling their restaurant or bar managers. And that's not something that is in any kind of training. So I think that this is a great thing to not only for breweries, because brewery people are just super busy and they don't always have the manpower to do it the right way, even if they want to. It's just there's only so many hours in a day. But I think getting out to more bars and restaurants to explain this is such a big thing, because it is not something that is well known in that industry that is even an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I think people are just not informed. And, I don't know. I think it falls very low on the totem pole as far as, yes, do we have beer? Is the refrigerator cold? Like, it definitely falls far down there. So I think, as long as I've been doing this, it's definitely been a challenge, just even getting people to understand the importance of it. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that and also with like the food and health, administrator, like the FDA should be checking on stuff like this too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, it should be part of the health department's focus and it just isn't. I mean, it's a consumption like anything else. But yeah, it's definitely been a challenge. Yeah, cuz I've been into places where they've told me they've never ever had their lines cleaned before. And they were like, "We didn't even know that existed." Or I've worked there for 5 years. I've never seen anybody come and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally respect what you do, and I totally
Wow,
understand
thanks.
why, from time to time when we've been out together, you're like, "I'm gonna get a bottle of this or a can of that because you never know.
It's hard when you've seen somebody's kitchen or yeah, bar, you're like, I
I
have
get
that.
it. I even delivering things in, you're able to
Sure.
walk through someone's kitchen. I've lost some of my favorite places, just for that reason.
Yeah,
It
it's
happens.
unfortunate.
You
Yeah.
have a standard that you set in your mind because a place is so good or it has a thing. And when, your eyes are open to new information and it's not necessarily their fault.
No,
Sometimes it
not
is,
at all.
but like
I
not
mean,
in this case, specifically in this case, it's, you know, restaurant owners in the area don't even know that it's their responsibility to clean the lines because distributors have been doing it for them for free for so long.
right, right. And I mean, like Danielle was saying, like, you don't even know if they're doing a good job,
Right.
or that
Because
there
they don't
are
know what
other,
the standard practice of doing it
because
is.
there's like, right, no one's letting them know what the standards are. So, I have this coastal clear tap standard that's, break down every possible part and use the best possible chemicals, which I'm also like researching new chemicals. I'm trying out some new stuff that's eco-friendly, which I'm really interested in. So I've been using some samples from a buddy. So yeah, there's some cool stuff happening. But yeah, I mean, it should definitely take longer than 20 to 30 minutes. I'm at a place, depending on the system, for at least an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, between the flushing and the cleaning and the breaking down and putting it back together. I also check for gas leaks. A lot of people just don't do that. I've saved a lot of people money just which is huge. But yeah, it's the people that I do have and that are consistent are amazing and understand the value in that. It's getting everyone else on board with a more aggressive standardized approach to cleaning lines. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting topic that I've talked a lot about, and yeah, it's cool to see people's responses. It really is, and just their input.
No, I love it, and I love having people on that can break down some of these things for us. Because, like I said, I understand the importance of these things now, having moved from just your average bar and restaurant to then moving into breweries where and then also going for like further trainings and things like that where I can like I taste when it's off now. But not knowing that, and I do think that as bars and restaurants have access and start buying more craft beer, I think this is going to be a bigger conversation that needs to be had because I don't think it mattered as much to the distributors when it was, some of your corporate style beers. Everyone was just kind of used to it. It is what it is. And then this is what it was. But now you can literally go to that brewery and have one correctly and then go, wait a minute, why is it different when I'm at your bar or restaurant? And I think that's going to open up a lot more conversations about why is it different if I go to the brewery that makes it and have it on their draft line as opposed to my favorite bar or restaurant? Why is that different? And the line is one of the biggest differences, honestly.
Huge. It's huge. I mean, it's definitely, I think that it should fall a little bit of responsibility on like a smaller brewery ish that has distro to hold them accountable if that is if that is the choice that they are making, whether they're deciding to go with a small business owner who does it or if they have a distributor doing it. I think it's important to hold those accountable, just because it's your product and that's the route that you're choosing. And it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely like it falls very far on the totem pole. But yeah, I think like if, like for Green Bench, for instance, I mean, they have a standard of flavor that is important to them. And Chris Johnson will go and sip and
Yeah.
drink, make sure that things taste the way that they should.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Very, very
and that's,
impressed with their
yeah,
staff and the amount of education that goes into all levels of staff,
yeah,
which is
Yes.
I think, hat off to Green Bench for doing that. But after talking to so many over the years, knowing so many of them, it doesn't matter what your job is there, you understand the education levels because everyone is open and welcome to learn about. And then other people I've heard can come in too. Like they've just been doing classes for a long time. They're like, "Hey, regulars, come on out, and then you can tell us what's going on because you're out and about
it's
already."
true.
I was like,
Yeah,
"That's
it's
so
true.
cool."
It is,
That's
yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah,
want to go to one. Like, when's the next one? Let's go.
totally.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
no,
had a
I thought, and I have so much respect for breweries that really do put that much time and effort and learning and then going out into the community and making sure that their product is being sold the way that they intended. And I think that as you see, like, I think that is, and I know this from being in Tallahassee and then coming back and then talking to small brewers, a lot of the big issue with, going with a distributor is, well, how do I know that my beer is going to be sold the way I intended it, the way I intended it to taste? And so I just feel like I feel like the craft beer market, and I'm going to ask you about this because we do ask everybody, but this is a different conversation. The craft beer market is kind of hitting a steady kind of plateau. We kind of rose really fast, which kind of always then decreases a bit. And like we're keeping a real steady kind of, and which is good. In the market, kind of getting those big up and down fluctuations is a good thing when you're holding kind of steady. But I do think it's going to start bringing up more conversations like this, which I think is great. We have a very, very optimistic view of the future of craft beer because we do see that holding steady pattern is a good thing. And I ask this for everyone, and I will say that more often than not, everybody also has a pretty positive outlook, but we've had both. What is your outlook on the future of beer? Because you get to see it from a completely different side than we do.
Sure.
So,
Yeah,
there's a lot of debate on what's going on with beer right now, what's going on with craft beer in general.
sure.
But what do you see, and what do you see for the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think it's definitely plateaued at the moment. I think like a couple of months ago, I said it was on the decline, but there's several factors involved in that. I think that there was definitely a heyday. I mean, when I first started, this was 20 years ago, and this was 2007 when I started working at a craft beer bar. I mean, it was, the beer clubs and the beer cards and the beer mug clubs, and those were it. And everybody wanted to know the newest and hottest item. So I'm making comparisons to a time that I remember when other half brewery opened and I was living a few blocks away and people were camp tenting, waiting in line for beer. I remember beer lines, people paying to get beer. So it's definitely a different type of progression. And I think the standard, like we had talked about before, for flavor has increased immensely. And not anybody can just make beer. So I think that, and I think the consumer is starting to get to that level. So yeah, I think, and you're always going to have your macro beer drinkers, and you're never not going to have that. But there is, the level for craft beer has gotten higher, which is amazing. Beer, cleaning glassware, and like you said, the education at Green Bench, like everyone there is informed about what they're serving, like open fermentation and things like that. But yeah, I think it's definitely at a standstill at the moment. But yeah, there's like a generation that's like not drinking a lot right now. Like there's a lot of factors, people are opening sober bars and things like that. So I think just like consumption in general is kind of at a standstill. But I mean, definitely hopeful for the future. I mean, this has been my whole career,
Right.
literally, so I am seeing, new things coming out, people creating spaces that aren't just about beer, but just about a community and a space that brings people together, that I've always loved about the craft beer industry and how accepting it is. And it doesn't discriminate. Like it's just one of those like really safe spaces. I think wine, is like a little bit like higher echelon, and then beer is kind of like your let's go, like we're chill, like I don't know. It's always gonna have that place in my heart for it. But yeah, I think I'm always hopeful for where beer's gonna go, for sure.
Me too. We talk about this, and it's funny to ask these questions and to get some of similar answers as we've been
Yeah.
saying for, months,
I was just thinking that.
and
I
just,
was like,
yeah,
yeah,
right?
Carly's
Like,
on the vibe. She gets it.
yeah, like to just kind of hear like that kind of thing. Okay, and I know this is going back a while. You said it, 20 years. Do you remember your first craft beer that kind of got you into like, okay, I really like
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd ask.
this?
So, I mean, like craft, right? Like, I mean, because I don't want to say like Blue Moon because that's not the case. But like, if I will say, I was working at a bar in New York that had 60 taps and then 100 plus bottles. And this was the time when like Belgian beers were
Yeah.
huge. So I think I want to say one that I fell in love with was Grimbergen, which is
Okay.
a yeah, a dark Belgian beer. And I drank a lot of that, a ton. And it was so good. And you get like raisin and fig and like all these like really cool flavors. And then like the mouthfeel is like really textured. And I don't know. It was just it blew my mind. I was like, I didn't know beer could even taste like that. So yeah, a lot of Belgian beers from the start. Yeah.
I'm such a fan of Belgian beers, and I know, like, people have, like, such a love-hate relationship with the Belgian beers. I
Yeah.
love the different, like, layers of flavors and all that, so I totally get you.
Yeah.
Has from then to now, has your beer flavor changed? Like, what is your go-to now, and would it be different than then?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, mine has definitely gone from like Belgian beers to hazy IPAs and
Yeah.
also punchy, piney IPAs
Yeah.
to I do enjoy a crispy boy.
Danielle's gonna lose her shit!
Danielle hates a crispy boy.
I'm a lager
Oh.
gal. That's all
And
I
I
want to
know
drink.
they're so popular. I know people love them. I wish I could, like, I almost wish I could get into it to see what, like,
Yeah,
everybody
what the
loves
hype
about
is.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny? I think like out of all of the we've interviewed a lot of people in the last month.
Yes.
Yeah.
And quite a handful of them, I would say at least 85% of them have leaned towards the light lager life in
Yeah,
answering that question. But you know
for sure.
what? I've been thinking a lot about this, Danielle, because I know you got a lot of shade on the light lagers. And that's
Yes.
okay. So I don't know who hurt you, but someone did. But I will say, I think it's kind of cool that craft beer lovers are really getting into light lagers because, and we've talked a little bit about this before, but because it's really opening up the light lager market in craft beer. And so there's now these beautiful, not necessarily new because it's actually very old school style, but
Right.
like newer local options for light lager.
I'll say I always like diversity
She's
on a
like,
menu over anything.
yeah, but no.
So, my taste aside, I love to see breweries doing, like, everything that is, what people like. So, I never mind when a brewery does it. It's not my taste, it's not my style, and I've had so many because I try so hard,
At least you
and
try.
I even
At least you're
understand that, like,
trying. And like,
I
yeah,
do. And I even understand that a light lager is much harder to brew than anything else. Like there's no way to hide it. There's no like layers of flavor where like you can hide an imperfection. Like it is, if you can't do that right, like that is the top of the tier on how to brew. So I have so much respect for breweries that do it and do it well. It's just not my taste. And I wish it was.
but that's okay
But
because
you
we
know
have
what? When
people
I
like
first started
Carly
craft
and me
beer,
who will drink them up.
We'll drink them for you.
when I first started craft beer, IPAs weren't my taste, and it was just it was once I found a flavor profile and a hop profile I liked, then I did like them. So you never know, I may come around on it. I don't see that coming anytime soon. Honestly, people just have too many options that I love too much. Like I just love
Do you,
everything. I love all the other ones so much. It's hard.
They need love
Carly,
too.
do you have a favorite crispy boy? Not necessarily a brand, but a style that you prefer?
Jeez. I mean, like I'll always have like a bench life, just like a classic like lager, I mean, there's green bench in the house all the time because hubby works there. So it's,
Obviously.
a lot of
Bench Life is
postcard
my
filter, but
favorite shotgun
yeah,
lager, yeah, for sure.
yeah. Just yeah, and even something on a lucre
Mm.
faucet, something yummy that's
Oh, can we
a
talk
really
about
good
that for a
pour.
second? Can
Sure.
you? Yeah, because obviously,
I have one right here. No, I'm kidding.
do you really?
No, no. Those are expensive.
They are. So for those, just kind of like the basics of what a lucre is, and why it's so it enhances the beer so much because I think everyone should learn about it, especially people who work with them, but also
Yeah.
consumers who might be intimidated by the whole side pull system.
Yeah, I mean, I was intimidated by it when I first saw one. They're a huge mechanism. But yeah, my first introduction was, I think, at Green Bench, actually. And yeah, it's the side pour Czech style. And they have three main pours, the Schnitt, which is like the pretty like standard.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's just big
the
head.
idea,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
it's like half
Yeah.
and half.
Right.
So the idea behind it is the creation of that it's wet foam. So it's there, and the mouthfeel and the texture gives you more, I don't know, it just creates like a very pillowy, beautiful, all around very good experience to the beer, because foam is good. I
Yes.
hate seeing these
We
people that are
love
doing that.
head. Head is
People,
fantastic.
because Head was out for a while.
We know.
So
We're bringing it
yeah,
back.
We're
yeah,
trying to bring it back. Like, we
yeah,
talk about it so much. So many people come in there, and when you give them that nice foamy head and it looks so beautiful, and they're like,
yeah.
you didn't give me my whole beer.
It's crazy.
They
They're
like
like, that is
when they
weird.
stick their finger in it. That one drives me nuts.
They do the nose thing
Uh,
or whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. That's beyond me. But yeah, foam is flavored. That's
Yes.
Foam is
and it's a
flavored.
whole part of the experience is aromatics and keeping it there. But the lucre faucet is a beautiful thing. Some people are go either way on it. I think it's fantastic. And I mean, the Czechs are doing it and they're doing it right. And I think it's a really nice way to experience a beer. I think it's a really cool way. And I'll always do a milk pour with anybody.
Yeah. Next time I see you, Milko's all day.
I'm down all day.
Milko's in an Inderberg, and we'll do it.
It's a perfect pairing in my eyes. The only way to do it. Yeah, yeah, faucets are, I have my favorites and I have my not so favorites. Stainless steel is obviously the best. If I could give any bar, restaurant, brewery one type of advice is get stainless steel faucets inside and out. And
Yeah.
yeah, you get that with
I
like the
do.
internal parts of a faucet and things. You know, some people have stainless on the outside, the inside's brass, and it is the worst. It hangs on to every piece of debris. It's awful. So if that's a takeaway for today, I'm okay with that. But switch over to stainless. I can get you a good price.
We can help you figure it out. No, I love
Yes.
that. I
Yeah.
recently changed the line in my at-home kegerator. So mad respect to you, because
Yeah.
the tubie's they're a little bitch sometimes. But thankfully I had a strong, handsome man help me figure out what I was doing wrong, which I literally just missed the little spring on the inside. I was like, man, so close. But
Dang. I
dang
was so
it.
close.
I know.
Yeah.
But then in the middle of cleaning it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been drinking off of this thing for, so long. But, that's fine. It's clean
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But in the midst of it, I was like, this is why this is important.
Yeah.
You know,
This is why we do this.
this is why
Yeah,
we
I do a lot of house. Surprisingly,
Yeah?
I have a lot of house. Oh yeah,
I love
I've got a
that.
lot of like just local people with local tiki bars, which is pretty cool.
I love
That's
that.
awesome.
I see some pretty incredible views. It's kind of cool. And then I have like a lawyer's office in Tampa that has the sickest view of the city, and I clean their kegerator. I mean, it's like
Like, do
it's
they have a
kinda cool.
kegerator in their office, in the law office?
They sure do.
Cool.
Yeah, they have coffee and a beer on tap.
That's
It's like
great.
the best case scenario.
Love that.
You get your
That's
caffeine.
fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's great. So yeah, it's fun.
So
Carly, if someone wants to learn more about you, if someone's opening a brewery and wants to like contact you and be like, hey, what should I buy? How should I set this up? Or if a brewery or a bar and restaurant just wants to, up their game, how would people look up your services?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. That's a cool way to do it and then you could see all the work that I do and the type of work that I do. So at Coastal Clear Taps is my Instagram. And then, yeah, that's also my email. If you want to hit me up there, coastalcleartaps@gmail.com. Yeah, that's the best way to find me. Yeah, you'll get to see some really cool, gross stuff and the aftermath of my cleanings.
Which, I mean, what better way to see like how it's going to help you than to see how it's helped other people? And
Yeah.
honestly, like even if you don't need Carly's services, just go on and follow her on Instagram, because like that's just a cool like thing to see all the time. So, go out there, give her girl some love.
Yeah,
But Carly,
support
thank you
local
so much for being
women-owned
on.
businesses.
Yes, absolutely. But thank you so much for being on with us. We learned so much and it was so great having this conversation. And honestly, I can't wait to have more as more bars and restaurants start understanding that they need to be educated on how to best properly serve their products. So thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, gals, so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for the platform.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Anytime.
That's awesome.
We will see you guys next time.